This is the most southerly of the tribes that live in Ethiopia, Omo Valley. Cattle are like they're central. Everything of theirs depend on the cattle. The Daasanach, if you like, the Daasanach, the dassenech, however you pronounce it, this is the tribe that we want to talk about today. They survive by cultivation as well, only during the rainy seasons. When the Omo Valley fills, they can easily divert the water for cultivation. And they only slaughter their cattle during the very dry season, not during the rainy season. During the dry season, when they lose a lot of cattle due to famine and drought, they turn into hunting the crocodiles, fish and hippos. Now, apparently, according to the dassenech, if by instance during the drought you lose a lot of cattle, you turn from being a normal dassanach and you're referred to as a dais. The dais are actually like the poor of that particular tribe. And Asuba Olosholang, welcome back to Nkaulele, your home of entertainment. I'm your host Kama Kawaida Nasha. First and foremost, I want to take this moment to say asanteni sana to all of my subscribers. Nkaulele is growing each and every day because you're part and parcel of Nkaulele. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like, share, leave a comment down below over, whatever story you've liked. And maybe there's something you also want us to do, you can leave a comment down below. And also, if you don't feel like free to mingle with us here, you can go to our Facebook page, our Instagram and Twitter, and you can find us as Nkaulele TV Kenya. Sasa, have been taking you through the stories of the Omo Valley for a while now, and today we are just about to close down with the Daasanach tribe. And for some of you, what you don't know is, it's also, this particular tribe are also here in Kenya, and they are very well known for their beautiful, beautiful beadwork. Like I had begun my story, I had told you that the Dasanach basically depend on livestock, particularly cattle. So what happens when you don't have cattle? I've told you what happens is you're termed as poor, and they have a specific term for it, which is the dais. What has happened to the dais? Well, the dais are the normal dassenech who, according to them, during the famine period or drought season, they lost most of their cattle to, the famine. So they don't have more. So these particular people are normally put into a certain bracket and they are treated totally different. Because according to the dassenech, the more cattle you have, the more wealthy you are. And if you haven't watched most of the stories I've done about the Omo Valley, kindly do not forget to tap the link up here. Go and check so that you can know what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to cattle and the whole Omo Valley, the way they live and all that. So once you become the dais, basically what you depend on is the hippopotamus meat, the crocodile and fish only. That means you're poor. So if by any chance you need or you feel like you want to have cattle, what you do is you can trade in. They help each other. The Dasanets also believe in, I don't know what to call it, umoja. Yeah. So if you have more cattle and you feel like you want to change your diet or there's something you need from the dais, you just go and swap. For instance, if you're from the dais, you're Dasanet as well, but you're from the dais, now you're poor, and you feel like you have seen a bride somewhere and you want to get, married, and you have to take the cattle. Of course, now you don't have. So what happens is you go and hunt. You get the crocodiles, the hippos, and then you go to the market and get to swap now with the wealthy ones, the ones that have the cattle. So there's a lot of barter trade between these two. But remember, it is still one tribe, but only now kuna limit. Like for those that are in Kenya, we are going through the bottoms up economy. So maybe you understand when I mean low class, middle class, and the top class. Now for them, it is just the bottom class and the top class. The top class are the ones that have the cattle, and the bottom class, ni wale wameshua kabisa, they don't have anything. They only depend with what will come with the water. So if you've understood so far, by the time you say a dais and you have been doing a lot of exchange and maybe you've done a lot of barter trade, you've taken a lot of hippos and gotten cows, at a certain time, now you can upgrade to go back to being the normal Dasanach, because sasa you've gone back to having everything else, whatever the other people have, now you have. So you can easily upgrade, meaning being poor in this community is not a permanent thing. It's totally temporary. It basically depends on the weather, whether it rains or not. Because once the Omo Valley is packed, it has a lot of water, then that means the grass out there is green. So pastures are kibao. And the other thing is, you also have a lot of fish, you have a lot of hippos and crocodiles, so it's easier for you to do barter trade. So, my people, one of the things that I noticed was a bit different with the Dasanach. Like in the African society, let's talk about, for instance, back here at home in Kenya, most villages, or rather most tribes, have the man leading as the head of the house. But in this particular tribe in Ethiopia, it is different. The women are the ones who run the most, most of the work, and they're the ones to choose most of the things. So, like for instance, the women in the Dasanach community are the ones who will be building houses and also bringing them down. Also, when I'm talking about houses, in this particular tribe, the Dasanach have normal spiral houses that have, the fimbos, alafu imekorogewa, and they are round. And they only have one very tiny opening that has a leather kind of thingy, like a door. Instead of a door, because it's old age, they use that leather covering. And then inside their houses, they are totally well aerated. So there's a lot of gaps in there, like the whole house, so you can see inside. This is because, for those that know, Ethiopia is a very hot place, and because they believe, or rather they live feeding on this food from, the river, they have to have a lot of fresh air in the house. The other thing is, while building a dassenech house, the first place to be built is normally the store. This particular store is built in a very different way from the house. So they start with a box-like figure with sticks and ropes around it. That is the first thing they do before they build the house. The store part is the most important part of the house for the dassenech women. Once they do that, now they build the whole house. So this box particularly can never leave the house. It's meant to be there. So as they build the houses, remember I had told you they are almost like the ones that are running the homes. So they normally pick the right side of the hut to live in. And also the front of the house, which is also known as the porch, is theirs. It belongs to the woman of the house. Like I have said, in most of the other tribes, especially here in Kenya, you find that outside the house is where the man sits. It's where his tool and his spear and everything normally rest. But now in this particular tribe, the women choose that right side of the house and stay outside the porch, and no man can actually sit there. Going forward, the dassenech have the stores for storage of food and also coffee. And I'm sure most of you are asking, coffee, how? Well, there is a whole episode I will do about the reason why the dassenech particularly love coffee and what they do. Coffee in their tribe is used for a lot of rituals. So look out for part 2 of this particular video so that you understand. Sawa wadau. So, vile nilikuwa nimewambia, these people, they actually fish and they hunt for crocodiles. So ikifika time ya kwenda kuhunt, it is normally the work of the men. So wanajitayarisha, and one thing in particular is they can only hunt crocodiles at night. Number 2 is these people who are not, brought into the light to the Western culture and everything. Hao walikuwa tu na nini yao. But the one thing that they adopted from the whites is a torch. So walikuwa na torch. So ikifika usiku, wale ambao ni hunters wa crocodiles walikuwa wanaingia kwa hizo kanu zao, wanaenda usiku huko, na there's a spear they normally use. So it is so sharp and tough, so that akidunga hiyo crocodile hivi once, haitaweza kumove. Remember, you're going into waters with, like a lot of crocodiles. So ukigonga moja miss, you can imagine the fracas uta create hapo. So they would go at night, and then they would normally look at the eyes. You would see crocodile eyes at night, zina flicker, like you could see the color. So unajua mahali ziko. So they would go slowly, then using the torches, that's how they would communicate. Kusema kama iko hapa, like they show, iko hapa, ivo. Then now they would come, alafu wanapeleka home. It was a source of protein for them. And besides, remember that if you could not afford cattle, and even if you had cattle, si kila wakati unaweza kuchinja. They did not believe in slaughtering during the rainy season. So only during the drought season ndio unaweza chinja ngombe wako, na only if ni ngombe nzee. So kama ni ngombe ambayo bado ni ndogo na kuna drought, bado you cannot depend on that kettle. You have to look for fish, crocodile or hippos. Sawa sawa. So the Dasanach and also most of the tribes that live around the Omo Valley have always traded with each other. Particularly those days, it was just about food and, you know, those small commodities, clothes and stuff like that, beadwork and stuff like that. But recently, the Dasanech are actually trading in for guns and bullets, because that is the most recent trade right now, because of also their security and everything. So over centuries, the Dasanach tribe have actually tried to, you know, emulate and learn a lot of things from other tribes. But particularly for them, they are divided into 8 clans. And according to them, each clan is dependent on the other. Hakuna clan moja yenye iko superior kuliko ingine. Kila clan inajielewa na iko na benefit yake kwa hiyo community mzima. So the 8 clans, there are several that are very important. You know, kuna number 1 na kuna number 8. So one of the clans is known as the Galbur, also known as the Crocodile tribe or the Water tribe. According to the Dasanach, this particular tribe are known for their power. They believe they have power over killing crocodiles, and they have power over curing gland-related diseases. So if you're from another clan and you have a gland disease, you can easily come now to the Galbur and they will sort you out. Clan number 2 is known as the Turat, believed to have the power to cure burns. So for instance, tuseme umechomeka and you're from a different clan, this Turat clan are the ones that will sort you out. They are also believed to have power over snakes and also have power over enemies from other tribes. So hawa basically are like the security, because wanajua senye enemies wako karibu, wanajua mali nyoka ziko, and also they cure or rather treat burns, and they have power over fire. Number 3, the Tunyerim. This particular clan is known to have power over drought. They are the ones that pray in case of long droughts and famine. And they are also known to cure snake bites by spitting to the wound, and it clears. Like once you've been bitten by a snake, there's a thing they kind of spit and you're cured. So those particular clans are among those that are, you know, well known within the Dasanach tribe. Well, there are so many other tribes, clans under this tribe, and they have so much power. There are those that have, you know, healing powers over scorpion bites, muscular problems, eye infections, etc. Apart from just healing each other and all that, there's one forbidden thing about, you know, the clan. You cannot, one, marry from the same clan you're from. Like if you're from Turat, you cannot marry from the same. You can marry from another. It's the same tribe, just the clans are different. The other thing is, during their dances, hawezi kubaliwa kwenda tu ucheki hivi dem uende udance na yeye na you are the same clan yenye uko. It is forbidden. Well, the Dasanach circumcise their girls from around age 10 to 12. If a girl is not circumcised, she cannot be married, and if, you know, someone comes and proposes, there is no bride price that can be paid. And if the girl is not circumcised, they are actually teased around the community. There are those that are referred to as wild animals, dirty, or even referred to as men, because by that age they are supposed to be circumcised so that they can, you know, be able to get someone to marry them. So during the circumcision of a girl, it is normally performed by an older woman, and it is either done in her mother's home or another woman's similar to the mother's age home, you know. So what happens, they are tied down using leather straps, miguu. They are either tied like from this foot on that side, this other one on the other side, and they are held down. Then of course the whole procedure goes on. These straps are supposed to help her not move. These straps will be there for a while until she actually heals. And once she heals, her mother makes some sour milk, then she can be able to give her, and then she is given some sort of necklace that she's supposed to wear, and finally she's allowed to put on a leather skirt, and now she's, you know, ready for marriage. So basically what I'm saying is, before all this process, the people never cared how she would dress and stuff like that. Lakini saa ile tu hivi ameshaenda through the whole circumcision process. Now she's given a wrap skirt that is made of leather, alafu sasa anaingia kujoin kikundi cha wamama sasa. She's no longer a small girl. And that happens between the age of 10 to 12. So you can imagine, by the time, if this girl is around 11 and maybe she's gone through the process, by around 12, she's already married off, na akona watoto wake, and life begins from there. The whole process goes over and over again. The most important ceremony for a man from the Dasanach tribe is known as the Dimi ceremony. This is whereby a father is now giving her daughter away for marriage. She has gone through the process of circumcision, she's finished it, and she has graduated, and now it is time for her to be married off. Now, during this Dimi celebration, babas anapatuongwa ng'ombe around 10 to 20, even 30 cattle are brought in, and they are normally exchanged with coffee. Now, I'm sure most of you are still wondering, why coffee? What's the most important thing about this coffee in the Daasanach tribe? Well, remember, watch the next episode and then you will understand what they do with their coffee. I'm sure you're thinking, for one girl, giving away 20 to 30 cattle, that's a lot. Well, in the Dasanach tribe, also this particular ceremony known as the Dimi haifanyiki just any time. It is mostly done during the dry season. There are two reasons for this. Number one, during this dry season, they are normally okay with you slaughtering your cattle, because it is also going to provide, it is a source of providence, you know, for food for the particular community. And also number two, these cows are too weak to keep milking. So it is okay, you know, for it to be food. And remember, I had talked about storage. So, hata kama ni ng'ombe 30, zitachinjwa, you put in storage, and it's supposed to survive for the number of days the drought or famine will be there. So these Dimi ceremonies were actually taking place during the drought. So kuna vile hata kama kunanyesha and you want to get married, then this process cannot go through because hakuna kuchinja ng'ombe. So that's the whole thing. You have to wait for the drought. When na huyo spouse wako mtakaa tu separately until kuwe na drought do, the whole ceremony can be done. It has been an amazing time. I hope you have had fun. I want you to take care of yourself because I need you here next time. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, naomba tu tafadhali teremke hapo chini, subscribe hapo down, tafadhali tap ako kabel kako hapo hivyo, so that each time I do an upload, you're notified. And if you have not liked any of my videos, come on, I'm sure one of it was interesting. So please do not forget to like. Do not forget to share with your friends. You know, it is fun. These lessons also can go for history, you know. So if maybe you want your son or daughter, your friends to know about the Omo Valley, these stories you can share with your friends. Thank you so much for being, you know, attentive and being here with me. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye.